Tencent, or Tencent, is a company out of mainland China, most known for the QQ and WeChat messaging services on social media. WeChat is the equivalent of, say, WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, and has grown to over 1.2 billion users worldwide, making it the third largest instant messaging application in the world. The Pocket Read by Tencent features a 5.2-inch e-ink screen, SIM/SD card slot, quad-core processor, and a 2000 mAh battery. It being a smartphone, it also has some preloaded apps, Bluetooth, a glow light, and onboard audio with 2 speed modes. So let's check out what this device offers, starting with the UI. This is the home screen, and while it may look like traditional Android, it actually isn't. These apps are baked in there and you can't get rid of them, so the Chinese Kindle and the Internet Explorer, you can't do anything about it. If you long press, if you go to Apps Manager, it doesn't do anything. In fact, it just opens up the respective app. So you can't actually put or sideload in APK files on this, and there's no file browser, meaning that even if you had an APK file on here, you can't go to anywhere to actually find it because there isn't any way to go through the directory of the unit itself. That being said, you can discover some of your books in here, which we'll show you in a second. This is your library, although it does not discover PDFs. This whole unit doesn't discover any PDFs whatsoever. Another major issue with this is that it's very locked down, and it feels like everything you press either directs you to having a Chinese mainland phone number or scanning a QR code. Swiping the top down, you do have a fair amount of options. You have Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, you have cellular connectivity, and a bunch of other things like wiping away all of the apps in the background, etc. You have a glow light here, which we'll show you a little bit later, and you have 2 modes, normal mode or HD mode, and a speed mode. You can also trigger a refresh anytime you want by pressing that. Upon looking at the unit itself, it has a very good pixel density, it's very high quality, the background is consistently white, and the blacks have a very nice contrast. There's nothing wrong with the hardware and the overall appearance of the unit itself. You don't have a file manager, so you're going to have to rely on the QQ Reader, which is their proprietary reader on this unit, to put in side-loaded content. You can put in side-loaded content if you want, and it does perform very well. It's easy to read, it's very easy on the eyes, it's very quick at the same time, and there's really no issues with the reading experience, and everything's going to be in your respective language as well. If you put Arabic or Portuguese content on here, it's going to be that actual language. It's not going to translate it into Chinese or anything like that. Much like to be expected out of a pocket reader, you can change pages using the volume up and down, which is really nice because that means you can hold it in one hand and you can just swap pages without really using the screen at all. Because you only have one choice of reader and you can't load in anything else, unfortunately all of your options are going to be in Chinese and there's nothing you can do about it. However, there are some ways to change the text size, the fonts, and a bunch of other settings down here. However, you are going to have to really whip out your camera a lot if you want to use something like Google Lens to translate whatever you're looking at.
Or that the canisters were rattled up and down like juggling tricks, or even that the BL ended scent sub tea and coffee were so grateful.
Out of a unit that was not meant to be released outside of China, that is one of the better TTSs we've ever heard. It's very easy to trigger, you simply press it and it works on side-loaded content. Surprisingly quite good. The Kindle application is the Kindle.cn or Amazon.cn, which is the Chinese Amazon. Even if you go here and sign in, it shows a glimpse of what you had in your library, and then it logs you out because you can't actually access it unless you're in mainland China. So even if you go to the store or anything like that, you can't actually download anything. This app is also completely stuck inside the firmware. You can't get rid of it, and you can't sideload in an Amazon.com, CA, JP, or any other Kindle app. If you've been following our coverage recently, you'll know that the Sony Reader Store in Japan is alive and well, and throughout the world. So you can see that even on this unit, you can actually browse the store and read and download samples and purchase content anywhere in the world. So even on a device as locked down as this, you can actually utilize the browser on any device really and read your content regardless of what country you live in or device you're reading it on. This does not have a warm light on it, which is rather unfortunate because the glow light, albeit is very good from side to side, top to bottom, it is a very nice experience. But there is no warm light, and what that means is that it is very blue, and that is unavoidable. It is actually quite a blue experience. We have seen devices that have just a dedicated white set of LEDs with no warm light to counteract it, and they end up looking like this. It is a very blue experience. It's not that great on the eyes. It is a good level, it's a good intensity, and it's a very good spread, but that's where it ends. Lack of language options, inability to sideload apps, and being blocked every step of the way unless you have a mainland Chinese phone number makes this device thoroughly useless to anyone outside of China. However, to be completely fair, this unit was never meant to be released outside of China, or reviewed by any English review channels like ourselves for that matter. Stepping back from the restrictions, the screen is great, the reading experience is what you would expect out of a pocket-sized e-reader, and the speed modes are helpful in navigating the unit under normal circumstances. There aren't many small dedicated e-readers out there, and if you're simply using it to sideload in EPUBs, it is a good option. But that's really where it ends, unless you live in the country for which it was intended. For GoodEreader.com, this is Peter.